So guys, today's topic is how do you get small getaway adventures on your motorcycle? Does it have to be a big planned thing, or can you simply do it as a spur of the moment type of thing?
Yeah,
So that is the topic for today.
yeah, I think it's a good topic.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of guys who have difficulty getting these adventures because they are saying, I don't know when to do it because I don't have a week, 14 days to go adventure riding.
Yeah.
And I think it's a mistake that you can't have adventures that is not a week, 14 days or even longer.
Yeah, exactly. So what we hear a lot is these people who plan on going around the world, down through Africa,
Yeah.
Especially from Denmark, a really common goal for destination is Nordkap, the North Cape on the top, the very top of Norway,
Yeah, exactly.
and that is also easily a week you have to take, if not more,
Yeah,
to get there. If it's not just riding your bike for 15 hours a day,
yeah, exactly.
struggling to
Yeah,
get there.
if you want to see something through Norway,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a 14-day trip.
Exactly. So that is the issue that we're trying to address is how do you find and locate these different smaller locations, and what is the definition of an adventure?
Yeah, because I think an adventure is very individual. What's an adventure? But
It is.
when we started riding, we also were constantly looking for possibilities to go away for 7-10 days
Yeah,
to get an adventure.
exactly.
But we found out that it's possible to do it in another fashion.
The fact of the matter just is I don't and you don't have the time to maybe once a year take 7 days, 10 days, whatever, to do something
Yeah.
motorcycle related, right? But I have a busy work schedule. I have a busy family life.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
have lives as well and things they have to do as well. So I have to kind of intertwine them towards how they feel about it, whatever available time I have. So what we talked about as well is here in Denmark, especially, but throughout a lot of Europe, we have these TET, the Trans-European Trails,
Yeah.
and these are mainly, but not 100% gravel roads, but they are a designated route going through the most of Europe that takes a lot of the scenic routes, both tarmac and gravel,
Yeah.
but mostly gravel if it's possible. And these you can take in sections. So we could easily go Friday after work, nothing planned for Saturday and Friday
Yeah.
night maybe, just as a small getaway.
Yeah, exactly.
Then leave Friday after work, pack the bags on Thursday, get on the bike after work on Friday, ride down to the destination Friday, sleep there, and then you have a whole Saturday of riding.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the main part of getting an adventure is to sleep away from home.
Yeah.
It is, otherwise it feels like you're going away just to come back again. But the
Yeah.
fact that you go to sleep somewhere, for some people it's hotels, for other people it's bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
For us it's mainly shelters and tents,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is the preferred way
Yeah.
to sleep.
Yeah, we are starting to lean a little bit more to shelters.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
It's just a little bit more convenient.
It is.
Yeah.
So when we started out, we had tents. Mads actually slept in a hammock at first.
I still do.
Yeah,
In
every
summer,
now and again.
Yeah, when we are going to Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring my hammock.
True,
Yeah,
true.
but-
And there is some fantastic experiences to be made in hammocks and tents as well. But what we've concluded is, if you have a long day of riding in the rain, and if you sleep in the rain in your tent,
Yeah.
the tent is wet. And I know this is just an issue, and it can be dealt with in many ways. But here in Denmark, we're so fortunate; we have a lot of shelters, and these are built by private people. Most of them. There are also some public ones, and they are scattered throughout the whole country.
Yeah, we have thousands of shelters.
Of shelters,
in
and
Denmark.
it's a very cheap way to sleep. It's a very cheap way to have an adventure, which also binds into the next thing is, does it have to cost a fortune? Do you have to have a lot of equity in your house, or do you have to have a lot of money in your bank account to have small adventures?
Not at all.
And you don't.
No, not for us at least.
No.
Because we bought the bikes and maybe we spent a little bit too much money on gear.
Maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not willing to admit that just yet.
No, okay, yeah. We'll take that on a different subject.
Exactly, that day will
okay.
come.
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
sure of it.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll admit it.
Yeah, okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
You're the bigger man.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, but no, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. We live like homeless people.
Yeah, when we yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I have this thing for this ravioli.
Yeah, canned canned pasta in some type of suspicious sauce.
Yeah, and everybody laughs at me,
Yeah.
but I have to have it.
Exactly,
It's-
and
it's
it's
just-
cheap and it's filling and it's whatever you need it to be, right?
Exactly.
So and to feed into that as well is a really easy way to get away is just to pack whatever you have. It could be whatever you have in the refrigerator already. Stick that in a bag, stack it in a cooling container with an ice block or anything like
Yeah.
that, and just get out there. And you find that if you do this quite frequently, these smaller adventures, you don't necessarily have the hunger for the bigger adventure. I would love to go on a bigger adventure,
yeah,
but
of
I don't
course.
have in the foreseeable future. I don't see a hole in my schedule for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months
No,
to
no,
do
Yeah.
this at all.
Yeah.
So we have to make do with what's possible.
Exactly, and it's the same for me. I know we are trying to plan a big trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, a month.
Yeah.
Around.
So our bigger trip is we've planned is start in Denmark, go through Germany, through Poland, through Lithuania, Estonia,
Yeah.
over to Finland,
Yeah.
up to Lapland, and down through Sweden and back again.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's a long way around.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's. I mapped it, just a roughly mapped
Yeah.
route, and it's 7,500
Yeah.
kilometers.
But that's at least a couple of years of planning, if not more. Not necessarily to do the planning as per se,
no,
but to get in the right
but-
frame of mind and get the family ready for whenever that's going to be and so on.
Yeah, exactly. Because planning isn't only planning the trip; is also planning everything around your life that needs
Yeah,
to fit into this trip.
exactly.
Yeah.
So what I've heard a lot is, especially with the trend of selling adventure bikes, which we are also heavily into, is I think the idea of having the adventure bike is what sells the adventure bike, but I see a lot of them for sale again. So what I think happens, and this is totally non-concluded, this is just my theory.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people look towards having these adventures, seeing like Charlie Borman and Ewan McGregor doing round the world trips and Itchy Boots and all these different people who do fantastic adventures,
Yeah.
and getting the bike makes you realize that this isn't possible. So instead of searching for the next best thing, I think a lot of these bikes come back to sale again because they just find out that
Yeah.
I don't really have the time. No,
Yeah, exactly.
no, and maybe not the means or the time or the friends who also do it, someone
Yeah,
to share it with, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of these bikes are for sale again, and I think it's a shame, and that's one of the things we want to address.
Yeah.
Is
Because
there is adventures to be had.
Yeah, totally. When we started riding, I was looking again for these long adventures.
Yeah.
When I say long, I mean a week's time
Yeah.
or something. But as we got better to do all these small trips, sleeping out one night
Yeah.
and driving 1.5 days, the feeling I have when I arrive home is exactly the same as the feeling when we are riding for 10 days.
Exactly.
I have the same feeling of freedom, and I think that's what it's all about.
Of course, if we
Yeah.
could choose, we're not saying that we wouldn't take 7 days over 1 day, because we
Of
would.
course we would.
And Mads and I have, for the previous years, taken one yearly annual trip for about a week, right? So
Yeah,
that's when we
about 10 days. I
about
think.
10 days, and
Yeah.
so where we get away and we do a bigger stint than what we commonly do.
Yeah.
But if we were only to wait for that opportunity to present itself, it would be a surplus to have the bike because you would never use it.
Yeah, exactly.
So these single days of also using your bike just to get the groceries or
Yeah.
go wherever, just
Yeah. I use my bike every time I have the opportunity.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I would love to do so as well. And I'm currently getting into
You're-
the mind frame of using it more,
yeah.
and I have used it more.
Yeah, you're getting better.
I am
Yeah.
getting better at it, but I came into the same hole like many others do. That fell into the same hole of, if I can't do that around the world trip, I don't want to do it, and it's simply not true, because I'll continue to chase my own tail, trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
And in the process, figuring out that it's not only my wish to do so, but my family has to be a part of it. And are they willing to give me the freedom to do that for a month, which obviously makes it much more difficult for them, me not being there doing whatever I need to do in the house as well. So this is a way to get around it. So when we talk about equipment, like we talked about, we have a lot of gear, we have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
What you also find is there seems to be like a like a slope of what you buy. You start with little, you figure out you need everything, and then you kind of go down again, and then you find a middle ground of what you actually need to do this.
Yeah.
So if we are to break it really, really down, you need a bike first. I guess you could do it on a pedal bike or a bicycle, anything like that. But this is motorcycling,
yeah,
right?
It takes the fun out of it.
It takes the fun out of it. So what you in theory could start with, this is just a back to basics. You need somewhere to sleep. If you don't have a tent, you can get a shelter. If you don't have shelters where you live, you can do whatever, right? So some people are really fortunate to be able to sleep under open sky. Yeah, if we do that here, we'll be soaking wet.
Yeah, for the most of the time we will. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and when we say a tent, you can just use a cheap festival pop-up tent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything serious.
I would say, of course, if you do travel a lot and you use it a lot, of course, you get what you pay for. There's no way around that. But you can do a lot of stuff with absolute lesser means as well. And in regards to bag and panniers and bikes and stuff, it's more convenient. But anything you could strap down to the bike with bungee cords or plastic bags or whatever would give you the exact same experience once you get to wherever your site is going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
So a big way of us doing or the approach that we have is we take the available time we have, we grab whatever we have, and then we leave.
Yeah.
And then we go. We have a route in mind. We choose some place to go, and we go there, and we pop our tents or sleep in the shelter or wherever, and then we spend the night having fun and talking and playing cards and whatever. Exactly, stuff like that, having a great time and making a bonfire. And then the day after, we ride a lot, and then we're back again on Saturday. And for some people, it doesn't seem like much, but for me, it's a lot better than nothing, because that would be the alternative would be just to go, well, I couldn't do it this weekend.
Yeah, and that would be a lose-lose situation.
It would be
to have a nice bike in the shop.
Yeah.
All the gear, but not riding.
Exactly.
Yeah. Then it's better for me. Also, it's better just take what I can get.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's one day.
Yeah.
Last ride we had was just one sleep.
Yeah.
Riding the whole day.
And then back again.
Yeah, and then returning back again at the evening.
Exactly.
It's still fantastic.
I think a lot of people are struggling, as do I, with the work-life balance of working a lot, trying to figure out to get some free time and doing what you want to do. I think this is a really, really good way of making weekends small adventures.
Yeah.
So instead of having a 2-week summer vacation where you go somewhere and then the rest of the 49 or 50 weeks you go kind of waiting for the summer to arrive.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a way to do it.
Yeah.
Plus, we do it all year round.
Yeah, we drive all year.
All year round, and
it's sometimes it's a pain to drive in winter, not because of the temperatures, but just all the layers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to layer everything up to keep warm, but it's also an experience, right?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And if this is in middle of January, chances are you would probably do nothing with your weekend anyways. Yeah, because you would look outside and you would say it's too cold to do anything. Can't do any gardening. You maybe have a home project or whatever, right?
Exactly. Or else you're just sitting in the couch watching the TV, and then I know what I would choose.
Exactly. Yeah. And over time, becoming older, I've come to realize that the winters have had its effect on me. They didn't used to. Before I couldn't care less. It had no interest if it was hot or cold, anything like
Yeah.
that outside. It made no difference for me. I did whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But within the last 10 years, I've kind of felt that winter depression trying to kick in every winter, because the winters here aren't winters anymore.
No,
we have
it's just-
we have 9 months of gray and shitty weather and unpredictable weather.
Yeah.
And if you were to wait for that perfect opportunity with weather and everything to be,
then
you would just sit and wait.
Yeah, exactly. We can tell shortly about our, not the previous, but the ride before.
Yeah.
Yeah, where we drove all the way to the south of Denmark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
This was in the hard winter.
yeah. Slept, woke up the next morning,
Yeah.
hit the trails, and it was just 5 centimeters of ice.
It was.
Yeah, we drove 2 kilometers in 2 hours.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
It was more a need of getting away and riding than it was actually logically the right thing to do.
Yeah, it was a stupid decision,
Yeah.
but I still arrived home feeling
We still went away.
renewed with energy and more ready to conquer the next week.
Exactly, and it was still a weekend getaway.
Yeah, and I have to say something I've come to enjoy very much about the winter
Yeah.
is this crackling of the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, snooking into to the bag.
Yeah.
And it's just minus 10, 12 degrees outside.
And you can hear the bonfire.
Yeah, exactly.
Cracking,
It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
It is. As a part Scotsman and someone known to be very cheap, I also really like the fact that I can get a weekend adventure or 1 day getaway adventure for whatever it costs me to bring me there.
Yeah, exactly. Because we don't.
That's about what it cost, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You just have to fuel and maybe a little bit to eat.
Yeah, but you
Something
would that
to
anyways.
drink. Yeah,
but
exactly. But
if you're at home, you would just spend money on whatever anyways, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you would be the same place.
yeah.
So the appeal from here is indeed to find these different holes in the calendar where you can take maybe just 1 day on a small trip anywhere.
Yeah.
And wherever you live, I'm sure there are places that you can go, destinations, fantastic places. I think there's one wherever you live, pretty
Yeah,
close
exactly.
by,
Yeah.
a couple hours away maybe,
Yeah, we have about 2 hours drive to our preferred destination.
to where the TT route starts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just at the border to Germany.
Exactly.
And it's the most technical part of the Danish
Yeah.
TT, and yeah, we like to ride it.
Yeah,
So-
and there's also, in regards to liking to ride it as well, is these different trails that we ride, they change throughout the year. So if you ride it in the summer, it's dry, it looks like one way.
Yeah.
If you come into the autumn and it starts raining and there's maybe more mud, it's more technically challenging, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then in the winter, it looks like nothing else.
Yeah.
Maybe it's covered in snow or whatever.
Yeah.
And you have to be cautious, of course, riding in the snow. You have to make sure you have insurance on your bike and all these different things to be covered throughout the year. But it takes what used to be a 4 to 5 month interest riding motorcycles into a 12-month thing that you can fit in wherever you want to fit it in.
Yeah,
and it
exactly.
could be that you have a Friday off work. It could be whatever, like a weekday,
Yeah.
and you could just do it in a weekday.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit around looking at these different documentaries on TV or YouTube or whatever, finding great inspiration to, I would love to go to Morocco. I would love to drive through Kazakhstan. But because chances are that for most people, that's just going to be a pipe dream. It's never going to happen. And not necessarily said because people don't want it to happen, but life happens.
Life happens.
Yeah.
Wife, kids, houses,
Careers, jobs, anything, right? And,
exactly.
or
And then it's
illnesses
hard,
or whatever, right?
and then it's hard to take this big amount of time out.
Yeah.
You know it, but my dream adventure is to try and ride in Mongolia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would give my right arm.
Yeah.
No, maybe.
Probably need them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Your left ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give my firstborn child.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't need that when I'm in Mongolia anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I would really like to go to Mongolia to ride, but I don't know if it's gonna be possible to do it. But I hope someday we can make trips like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But until that day happens, just use the days, use the weekends, use whatever holes in the calendar you find, and pack whatever you have on your bike, which is whatever bike. It doesn't matter if you don't have an off-road adventure bike. Just do it on tarmac. It makes absolutely no difference. There's
exactly.
enjoyment in a lot of different things.
Yeah, I think it's important to point out that adventures isn't only gravel forests.
No.
Adventure bikes. It's adventure is what you think an adventure is.
Exactly.
So if you just like to drive the highways
Yeah.
for 1,500 kilometers,
Yeah. You do that.
yeah, you do that, but just find the time,
Exactly.
because it doesn't have to be a week.
No, it doesn't. And like you said, adventure is whatever you make of it. But an adventure is a contrast to what you normally do, right?
Exactly.
It's a getaway. It's escapism, getting away from whatever you do in a thing that you love doing.
Yeah.
And we're fortunate to have one another to ride with. And for some people, they like solo riding. I've thought a lot about that. I think there are a lot of experiences to be made riding solo.
Definitely.
I find myself being a bit not really ready for it. I find that I would probably be really bored if I come to site and I would end up going to bed at 7 o'clock at night, because what else is there to do?
Yeah.
But what I've heard a lot of people who do solo riding talk about is that's when they meet other people, because suddenly you're approachable.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of being a group of 5 or 6 people who all camp together, which also has its pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
But I enjoy the fact that I get to share it with someone, and obviously that makes the planning a little bit more difficult, because it's 2 people who have to come to terms with.
It's two schedules. It's to sync up.
Exactly, and that does make it a bit more difficult. But it should never be something that stops you or prohibiting you from doing this. You just have to want it enough, and making sure that you capitalize on all the situations that occur, so you get away. So wherever you are, whatever you ride, whatever you own, whatever type of gear you have, just ride, like we normally said, right?
Exactly.
Just get out and ride, and take the small adventures for what they are, adventures.
Yeah, I think it's close to being a motto.
It is.
Yeah, just ride.
Just ride.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
with those words, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
And just ride.
Just ride.